everybody, welcome to my channel, Miss Criticizer 2021. Hope you all are doing well, and I'm back again. So, Family of Chantel Season 4, Episode 11. Why did I think that this was the season finale? My God, we're left with another episode again? Huh. They could have just wrapped up everything in this episode because this season is just dragging. We know what the tea is. Everything has played out on the blogs. We know what is happening. So TLC trying to create another additional episode? Gosh, that's really not needed. Now, the episode starts with Chantel and Pedro meeting up with Lydia. Why they're meeting up with Lydia? I don't know, but Pedro claims that she's unbiased in this situation and she's going to assess this situation as a lawyer that Lydia is. Yeah? But I guess she's good at reconciling things and reconciling conflicts. So why not? Why not have her there? And I'm like, your mom is not a marriage counselor. She's a lawyer. It's two different things. She's still your mom. But anyway, let me just go through it. Because anyway, the way Lydia behaved, I was a bit surprised. And I'm like, okay, no problem. She tried. So they start this conversation. And of course, Chantel goes first. And she explains her grievances with Pedro. She says that Pedro comes home with another woman's name on the key holder. Every time when she questions Pedro about it, he gets very defensive and he basically doesn't give a damn. She says that Pedro comes home at 3 a.m. Again, whenever she asks him, Pedro just gives 0 Fs. And he becomes defensive and he's like, who the hell are you? You're not my boss. You're not my anything. And he has been very disrespectful to her as of late. Now, Chantel also explains how close Pedro is with his colleagues. He tends to take most of his spare time or leisure time. He spends that mostly with his colleagues. It's a shame that he even spends more time with his colleagues than his own wife. And even Lydia had to come in and say that when you're at work, you leave everything at work. And when you have your private life, that's it. You don't need to mix those two things together. Work and private life. It's always going to be a mess. So, even they talked about the female colleague. I keep forgetting her name. The one that Chantel has an issue with. And she says that Pedro always drops that colleague at work. Pedro has basically become that woman's Lyft driver. He has become an Uber driver to that lady. And Pedro interjects and he says, that woman is a married woman and she has a child. Chantel said, you never told me about it. I always thought that she only had a boyfriend. I'm hearing this for the very first time. And of course, Pedro is using that to justify his action. Listen, for me, my opinion, she may be married, she may have a child. If she likes, she can be wholly married. She can be the holiest nun. I am not going to be a Lyft driver for anybody. Yeah? And that's what's causing the issue in their marriage. Like Lydia said, the colleague, she can find a taxi home. There's no need for her to be doing all that. And I said, yep, I agree. Also, they discussed the conflict of both their interests. It seems like they're growing apart. There are things that Chantel likes to do. Pedro does not like to do it. Vice versa. Things that Pedro likes to do, Chantel, she's just not interested. And so of course he feels like he's justified to mingle with his colleagues instead, who he shares the same interest. So Pedro also says that Chantel goes on holidays 10 times a year. And I'm like, and Chantel said, I'm not stopping you. I've invited you many times to come with me on holiday. You don't want that. And so Lydia asked, of course, a good question. Do you guys have anything in common now? Anything? And they basically, again, like what I said, they don't share the same interests. It's like they're strangers, they're growing apart. They lack that connection. Chantel also says that when they didn't have money in the beginning, they did so many things together. They shared the same interest, whether it's walking in the park, whether it's doing things together. They always did things together. So that never changed. That was a different Pedro that she met. But now it's like he spends more time with his colleagues. So Lydia concluded, and she said that, listen, I'm trying to fix you both, but you guys are not making it easier. You guys are only talking about the problems with no solution. It has become an ego trip. One person thinks they're better than the other, you know, and they both have to compromise, because if it's going like this, then what solution will come out of it? They should just put their ego aside and all that. I think that's when Lydia walked away, because she said, my work is done. I've tried to bring you guys together. You guys don't want to put in the effort. I just have to leave. So Chantel asked Pedro, what is your end game? What's your solution for now? Pedro said, I want a separation right now. Yeah, I want to be by myself. I want to be alone. I just want to be by myself, and I don't know how long it's going to take. Of course, Chantel said, you do know that if we are to be separated, the longer it's going to take, the worse it's going to get. It's not going to solve our issues. He said, I just need time alone. And so, of course, Chantel became so devastated. She walked away, and of course, she was very, very emotional. She was very emotional. She walked away because she's like, she doesn't want to divorce. No matter what happens, she never wants to separate. Chantel walks away, and Pedro gives 0 Fs. He doesn't make the effort to chase her or do anything. He was venting and saying that I am so sick and tired of Chantel. She never takes accountability. She lacks vision. All she does is sleep, sleep, sleep. I have told her 1,000 times that some of the things that she could change. I'm not perfect. We're both not perfect. But she never wants to take my advice. And this has been building up for so many years. Like, I've been there for her. I've encouraged her. And I've sacrificed most of my time for her. And yet she doesn't see it. She's always selfish. So I don't have time to deal with that. And I said, gosh. Anyway, moving on to the next scene. Alejandro with his vampire eyebrows and his gelled up hair is back again in the Dominican Republic. He wants to talk to Nicole, and he said, you know what, baby, I have something for you. I have something special for you. You're gonna like it. She said, what do you have? He said, it's the divorce papers. It's finally signed, and finally we can just be done with it. So she said, okay, no problem. You still have to see my mom to show her that, to show her also that you're interested in mending our relationship. She needs to see that. And Alejandro is not in the mood, because he said, listen, your mom has acted like a lunatic 1,000 times, and I'm just tired of trying to prove myself to this woman every time. Like, I'm not in the mood to see her. So later that evening, they eventually go to see Lydia. He barely stepped foot in that house, and Lydia said, nope, you're not going to use your feet to step foot in my house. Get the hell out of my house. I don't want to see you again. So of course Nicole said, don't you want to talk to him? He wants to talk to you. We have the divorce papers. He presented it to me. And Lydia said, I don't give a damn whether he's divorced, he's married, he's a pope, he's anything. I don't give a damn. I don't want you with him. He's controlling, he's manipulative, and you are the one that has been complaining about him to me. And now all of a sudden you want to resolve the issues? What is wrong with you? So they were going back and forth, back and forth. Nicole rushed outside. Alejandro said, you see why I don't want to deal with your crazy ass mom? Because of how she behaves. This is how she'll be attacking you. And Alejandro also says that you're no longer a child. Your mom keeps treating you like you're a toddler. She's manipulative and she's controlling you. You don't need that in your life. And I'm like, damn, Alejandro, how the hell are you going to disrespect the mama? Dude. So of course, Nicole, she's in a dilemma. She doesn't know what to do, if she should proceed with Alejandro or not. So she said that, hey, she's still going to stay at her mom's place, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I said they should just be done with this relationship. And Alejandro, damn, like, I understand how Lydia reacts, but if you want to get in my good graces, you better respect my mom. You're not going to call her manipulative, crazy, a lunatic and all that. Who the hell do you think you are? You are the one that was married. Anyway, moving on. Chantel calls her mom in the hotel. Of course, Karen says, oh, how is the retreat? How is everything? Are you guys enjoying the lovely heat in New Mexico? Are you guys in the middle of nowhere? Is it a horror movie? Oh my God. Please. I don't want you to be kidnapped in the woods. Okay? I know that you guys are in a remote place trying to work on your marriage. But please, don't kill each other. We want you guys to resolve things. And Chantel said, I'm not in New Mexico. The mom said, wait, what? What are you talking about? She said, I am in the DR. And yes, I met up with Pedro's mom because I wanted to mend that relationship. I wanted to show Pedro how far I can go to save this marriage. And yes, we have been at odds for many years, but I just want to fix it. I want to do it for me. I want to do it for Pedro. And of course, the mom was pissed. She said, no, you should not have done that. I said the same thing. And of course, Chantel said, well, the way Pedro's mom behaved, she behaved a bit better than I expected. Yeah, she was not biased and she saw both ends. And I said, Chantel, you left out the part when your mom, when you said that you bought her Gucci glasses, but that's okay. So of course, Chantel explained everything, how Pedro got angry, he rushed to come to the DR, and how the three of them had to sit down and nothing came out of it. Also, how Lydia tried to mediate it. And you know, Karen always has to give a good shade. She said, how the hell is that woman going to mediate anything? She threw a glass of water at your sister, and her daughter tried to throw a bottle at Chantel. Are you kidding me? And she said, well, and also Karen said that woman has never been married in her entire life. How the hell is she going to give marital advice? Oh my God. Karen is really shady. But you know what? In Lydia's defense, yeah? I'm not trying to be biased, but in Lydia's defense, Lydia didn't go to Chantel. Like I've said in my previous video, it was Chantel that went to Lydia to ask her for help. So what do you expect the woman to do, you know? I mean, you guys keep shading each other and all that. It's on both ends. You know how I feel about Pedro and his family. I do not like them, especially Nicole. You know how I feel about them. But I try to see both sides of the coin. Anyway, Karen tried to encourage Chantel, and she said, no matter what happens, you have you at the end of the day. You can always rise above the sand. Now, they also touch base on, because Karen likes to emphasize this whole thing about, you know, the hanky-panky situation. Usually when they get their papers, it would take them a while before they show their true colors. Yeah, is that what Pedro is doing right now? You know, now that he has his green card, he no longer sees her purpose. What is going on? And Karen is a good mom. Now we have Winter. Winter is still out here dating. She met this guy. The guy is cute as hell. But he has not one, not two, but 3 children. And of course, Winter doesn't like it. But she's like, you know what? Let me just get to know the guy. Let me see him for how he is. And let's just enjoy this date. And she's starting to pick up her confidence. She's having fun. And I said, you know what, Winter? You do you, but don't settle for this guy. You come with no baggage. The guy has 3 kids. Yeah? Look, everybody is allowed to do what they want to do. You know, I would have excused it if he had only 1 child. But Yeah, he has 3 kids. I don't know if it's by the same woman or not. Of course, he's going to present the best part of himself in the beginning. But then, who knows? He might show his true colors. But again, who am I to judge? Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe the guy has changed. But winter don't settle. That's all I have to say. So, the episode ends with Chantel and Pedro leaving the Dominican Republic. They're in a taxi. They're not talking to each other. They're avoiding eye contact. And Pedro said, in the beginning, everything was good. There was a great physical connection. We had the chemistry. But now it's fading down. I'm wondering, was it all physical after all? Are the true characters coming out? Is this what it is? Then they got to Chantel's part, and Chantel said, gosh, she wants to stay married. Yeah, she didn't go into the marriage to get divorced. No. Her aim is to stay married and try to resolve the marriage. And she says that Pedro never sees the sacrifices that she's made. She said that she had to even buy her own wedding ring or engagement ring because Pedro did not have good credit because he was on an immigration visa. So she had to basically pay for almost everything in the beginning. She had to make sacrifices. We all know the sacrifices that come with long distance relationships. The phone bills, the travel tickets, sometimes pocket money. My God. You know all those sacrifices that come with it. Time, money, stress, filing paperwork. All those things. And Pedro never appreciated it. Flight tickets that she was paying to go to the DR. And this is the thanks that she gets. She feels like the more successful he's becoming, the more distant he is becoming. The more distant he's becoming. Why is that? Guys, that's how the episode ended. Like I said, I thought this was going to be the season finale. Season finale is going to be next week. Now, you guys know what I've been saying. I've been saying this from the beginning till the end. If you want my 2 cents on this, yeah? Let me first start with Lydia. You guys know how I feel about Lydia. I don't like Pedro's family, but in case if this is how she acted on camera and it is real, then okay, I have to give props where props has to be given. You know, she said, even though I don't like Chantel, and Chantel and I, we've had many issues down the line, I still want it to work. He's my son at the end of the day. I'm trying my best not to be biased. And she was not biased during the meeting. I thought the meeting was going to be worse. It didn't get worse, you know. At the end of the day, like I said, it's Chantel who brought herself to the DR and to talk to his mom. She didn't do that. So, of course, she's going to be in their business. Now, the second one, yeah, because I also have to be unbiased in this matter, yeah. I can call right when it's right and I can call wrong when it's wrong on both ends. Yeah, I'm not on anybody's side. Now, about Pedro, if what Pedro is saying is the actual truth, yeah, then I can see where he's coming from. But the way he's dealing with it is very terrible. He loves Chantel. Don't get me wrong. I've been following Pedro and Chantel for many years. Yes, in the beginning, I didn't trust Pedro. But I could see that there were some moments he did love Chantel. Yeah? He was playing video games indeed. He has admitted that he was lazy. He also admitted that Chantel advised him to grow. That one, I give it to him. Now, when it comes to like household chores and all that, that's things that a couple need to communicate. Yeah? I think it should be done equally, or you communicate things out. I know that Chantel does intense shifts, yeah, throughout the week. It's no problem. She's off 4 days. Like what Pedro said, if you want to rest for the first day, no problem. Second day, no problem. Even the third day, no problem. But the 4th day, that's unacceptable, which I agree. If what he's saying is true, that she doesn't make the bed, she doesn't do the laundry, she doesn't cook, she doesn't do anything, and she preferred to spend that time to take 10 holidays in a year, then that one too, unfortunately, I have to be on Pedro's side. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to call things as it is, you know. Maybe Pedro has said this to her several times. Okay, when she was studying, she was studying. Maybe his job was at the warehouse, and because he feels like, okay, he owes her gratitude for bringing him to America. Okay, he's trying to also help within the house. He said, no problem, don't worry about it. Even though Chantel repeated 1 year, yeah. But now that he feels that he's growing, he's studied, he's working, he also needs that support. It's a both 50-50 thing. If they arrange like, okay, you do this day, I will do that day, that could have been avoided, yeah? Because I have to call things out as they are. Hypothetically speaking, just because, and this is not even only for Chantel and Pedro, just because the American partner brought you there does not mean that you don't have a say and you should do everything that they tell you to do, or you have that superiority complex over them. No, it's teamwork. You guys are married. And I know that Chantel loves him. I love Chantel, but I just have to call bullshit when I see it. It's a 50-50 thing, and that's based on what Pedro said. If it's really true, then I have to call it out. And it maybe was a build-up, and it doesn't help that maybe he's thinking like, okay, every single time she doesn't want to do anything with me, we don't have anything in common, and maybe she's treating my friends like that. One will secretly try to think like, was Chantel just trying to have me as a house husband, or trying for me to be submissive to her and that she's always right and I'm always wrong? Because that can, psychologically, that can play on somebody's emotions. Again, hypothetically speaking, if what Pedro is saying is true. Now, Pedro too, I've called him out so many times. Pedro, the way you go about things is not good. You wanting a separation is going to lead to divorce anyway, because you're tired of Chantel. You've grown out of love with her. We've seen the signs. You always come late. You always come with excuses. When she asks you questions, you're rude and you're just being dismissive. That's not how you resolve things. All this could have been avoided if maybe they just communicated better and they go to frequent counseling. Don't involve third parties in your relationship. I liked how Chantel dealt with her thing. She said, you know what, I'm going to deal with it in private because I don't want my family members to know anything. It's none of their business. She's trying to do it the mature way. But Pedro, you're out here telling your problems to your colleagues, to your mom, to everybody. Like, what do you expect? It's like you want to win these arguments. You keep saying that Chantel doesn't want to take accountability, but the mistake is also coming from you, from both of you, if you want to make it work. But unfortunately, like what I've seen in the blogs, you guys are now in the middle of a divorce, and it's messy now with this, I don't know, 150K withdrawal. Child, this is a mess. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this episode. Tell me what you really think about this opinion. I'm not siding with anybody, but I'm just speaking, hypothetically speaking, if what Pedro is saying is true. Because it's teamwork. You know, like I said, I love Chantel, but I have to call out wrong when you're wrong. Yeah? Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.